Hello everyone. Welcome to the lecture Highway Survey and Design. Next, let's take a look at the transition curve. The transition curve is a curve that gradually changes its curvature from a straight line with an infinite radius to a circular curve with a fixed radius. The standard specifies that, except for fourth-class highways where transition curves may be omitted, all other levels of highways should have transition curves. The linear characteristics of the transition curves are reflected in the following four aspects. First, the curvature of the transition curve gradually changes, with its value set between a straight line and a circular curve. Its alignment conforms to the vehicle path when turning, resulting in a smooth curve and eliminating the sudden changes in curvature. Second, due to the gradual change in curvature, the road shape becomes smooth and aesthetically pleasing, resulting in a good visual effect and positive psychological impact. Third, incorporating transition curves makes the horizontal alignment more flexible, allowing it to blend into the surrounding landscape and environment. This leads to a more economical and rational plane layout of the road. Fourth, compared with the circular curves, the calculation and measurement of the transition curves are more complex. The functions of the transition curve are reflected in four aspects. First, smooth ride, continuous change in curvature, facilitating vehicle movement. Second, reducing centrifugal force. The centrifugal acceleration gradually changes, enhancing ride comfort. Third, smooth alignment. When coordinated well with circular curves, it enhances the aesthetics of the alignment. Fourth, super-elevation runoff and widening runoff. A super-elevation crest slope gradually changes to make driving safer and more comfortable. From the graph, it can be seen that the road without a transition curve has a distorted visual effect and poor alignment, while the road with a transition curve has an aesthetically pleasing and better aligned appearance. Technical Standard of Highway Engineering stipulates the use of clothoid for transition curves and specifies that when the radius of the horizontal curve of a road is less than the minimum radius without providing super-elevation, a transition curve should be established. The fourth-class highway may not use transition curves. Straight lines and circular curves can directly connect them. In order to ensure driving safety, promote landscape harmony, and safeguard visual effects, Technical Standard of Highway Engineering provides the minimum length of the transition curve. Do all highways have transition curves? Not necessarily. The transition curve could be ignored under the following conditions. First, between the straight line and transition curve, when the radius of the circular curve is greater than or equal to the minimum radius without super-elevation. For the fourth-class highway, it is permissible to directly connect the circular curve with the straight line and establish super-elevation runoff and widening runoff on the straight lines at both ends of the circular curve. Second, between the same direction circular curves with different radii, when the radius of a smaller circle is greater than or equal to the minimum radius without super-elevation. Third, when the radius of a smaller circle is greater than the critical radius of a circular curve listed in the table and meets one of the following conditions. When the small circle is designed with the minimum length of clothoid, the difference between the offset of the larger circle and the smaller circle does not exceed 0.1 meters. The design speed is not greater than 80 kilometers per hour, and the ratio of larger circle radius R1 to smaller circle radius R2 is less than 1.5. The design speed is less than 80 kilometers per hour, and the ratio of larger circle radius r1 to smaller circle radius r2 is less than 2. The circular curve and the transition curve together form the horizontal curve, which constitutes the fundamental elements of the planar alignment, as shown in the diagram. The calculation of circular curves with transition curves needs everyone to understand. First of all, we need to understand the diagram. In the design of the horizontal curve, we should try to keep the ratio of the transition curve to the circular curve to the transition curve at 1 to 1 to 1. In addition, it is important for everyone to understand the elements in the diagram. Point ZH is the connection point between the straight line and the transition curve. Point HY is the point of connection between the transition curve and the circular curve. Point QZ is the midpoint of the curve, and so on. The calculation of circular curves with transition curves will be explained in detail in the following sections. Dear students, when designing circular curves and transition curves, it is important to strictly follow the requirements of the specification. It is the only way that we can design safe and comfortable highways. As highway designers, we should be mindful of national development and people's livelihoods, taking the responsibility of designing safe and comfortable roads as our duty. This is the responsibility of us, the college students of the new era. That's all content about the transition curve. Have you all understood it?